Mckinsey for Bass Players United. I'm going to do a kind of abstract lesson, not a whole lot in terms of technique, about fingerstyle funk bass playing. Funk is a very unique style for a rhythm section because the rhythm section is definitely the focus of the music. With that being said, you don't necessarily want to be doing anything in terms of soloistic playing or anything that's really kind of crazy. You just want to drive the music. So what you need to do is focus on being really present, really strong, really focused, kind of pushing things along, but not because you're taking this great solo. You're really just the engine in this thing. That being said, I've used that phrase twice, but that being said, 3 times, you want to do a couple things in terms of your technique. You want to make sure that your playing is really consistent. You want to make sure that you're really there. You want to lock with the drummer really, really hard, and you want to make sure that you're out of the way of what's happening out front, which is usually the vocals and occasionally guitar or horn playing or something. But you always want to be felt. You always want to be heard. There are a couple of techniques I'll get to in just a second, but in terms of what you want to listen to, if you want to go out and find some great fingerstyle funk bass players, pretty much the entire James Brown catalog, once it moved away from ballads. He had like some of the greatest fingerstyle funk players ever. Bernard Odom, Bootsy Collins, later on he even used guys like T.M. Stevens. I mean, ridiculously hip playing. And if you listen to the old James Brown grooves, they're, sometimes just 2 notes, That kind of stuff. Seminal. Rocco Prestia from Tower of Power. Brilliant, completely unique style. Everyone knows the song What Is Hip, but you can also check out Soul Vaccination, Get Your Feet Back on the Ground, Man from the Past. I mean, Monster on a Leash. It's outrageous what Rocco's done in terms of his playing. Paul Jackson with the Headhunters. Brilliant, brilliant playing. But remember, with funk, it's the rhythm section. So if you listen to the Headhunters, while Paul Jackson is absolutely incredible, without Mike Clark doing what he was doing on drums, it wouldn't have been the same band. Jeff Berlin's playing. The stuff he did with Herbie Mann, his version of Memphis Underground is outrageous. But if you listen to the stuff he did with Bill Bruford, some of his solo stuff, really fantastic fingerstyle funk. Jaco Pastorius, everyone knows for the crazy over-the-top fusion stuff. But if you listen to his version of The Chicken, or, oh heck, man, there's just a ton of stuff. Come On, Come Over from the first solo album. Incredible groove, incredible groove. And there are a ton of guys, Lawrence Cottle, Joe Hubbard, just a ton of guys out there to listen to who get this and who use this. So, with that out of the way, some of the techniques you want to work on for playing fingerstyle, you want to always keep in your head a 16th note. A buddy of mine calls it a grid, but it's really, you just want to have that feel, because a lot of what you're doing is syncopated. You're not necessarily hitting 4 on the floor kind of beats like you do in a rock band. You're doing a lot of things where you're kind of playing around with the melody. What gives groove life is really the space between the notes. It's the stuff you don't play. It's the stuff that creates anticipation, that people are kind of waiting for that thing to hit that makes them move. So you want to make sure that your playing is really consistent, both in terms of time and volume. Your attack has to be really good. So What Is Hip is a great exercise because you have to do that for like 5 minutes, and then there's a lot of jumping around too. So great exercise. If you can play What Is Hip, you're off to a good start. Another thing that will give finger funk playing an incredible life is ghost notes, which is you're playing with all the same energy, the same attack that you use when you play a regular note, but you're not actually holding the string down. You're actually just muting it. It's a percussive effect. that kind of thing. So if you take any kind of a line, whatever you're using, you can spice it up with a subtle use or an occasionally over-the-top use of ghost notes. So that kind of thing. Probably wouldn't want to do that much, but to demonstrate that works. The other thing that's really, really important about playing finger funk is having an instrument that works with the music, both in terms of locking with the drummer, so that you guys are creating a presence, a physical presence with your sound. But you have to know where you fit in the sonic mix. So with something like this, it's a Nordstrand BP bass, it's got a precision pickup for really strong fundamental playing, but this is a big split, which is kind of a hybrid design, somewhere between a J and a P, but with a lot of wires. So it's got great muscle, but it's also got articulation. So you can get, you know, the big thuddy kind of, that kind of stuff, but you can also get away with, which doesn't happen a whole bunch in funk playing, but it's there. But the point is that I know the sound of this instrument, which is going to be absolutely key to what you're playing. So that's kind of it for the guidelines. Other than that, go out and play, find a drummer, make some noise, and see what works. The whole point is to make the song happen. It's to make people dance. It's to get people physically excited, to create a response that gets people moving on a dance floor. Even if it's just bobbing a head, like the guy sitting at the table with a drink who won't get up and dance because he's too self-conscious. If you can make that guy's head move or his foot tap, whatever, you're doing this right. So, until next time, this was Stu Mckinsey, thanking Adrian Smith behind the camera, and Adam Phillips, again, at Bass Players United for hosting me on site. Thanks very much.